Okay, what's up? Ucha, salutations, peace to the family, peace to everybody that is on the late night. We logged in at 1:11. It is currently 1:13 IM. I would like to say peace to the family. Thank you for everybody that supports the movement. All right, so wow. I plan on doing a PowerPoint tonight, just on a late night, to give you guys something to just to have for to empower you for the 90-day water cleanse, as well as to empower you in life in general. Now, if you don't know who I am the Solar Prime Supreme, Minister of the Messiah Code Movement. I am known as 131 Lazarus Lamel. Alright? So, today I'm going to be sharing, we are on the 9th day of the 90-day water cleanse. I would like to say congratulations to everyone that is moving through the cleanse and staying strong. I know how it is. Alright, so we're on the 9th day. Alright? And the reflection of today would be Anuki Bisahut, Anuki Hitep, which is I am healthy and I am happy. Okay? Anuki Bisahut, Anuki Hitep. I am healthy and I am happy. And the supreme grandmother and grandfather mathematics is born, which is the 9th day or the 9th letter of the alphabet. Alright? Or the 9th number, it would represent born. So that's any mental thought coming into reality through a material substance. Alright? And then also, that's in the numbers, 9 represents born. But if you go to the letters, 9 would actually represent inner standing. So what is inner standing? Inner standing is the conviction within, knowing all aspects of information of a particular subject, confident, right, and exact, even when others are wrong. So, you got to be able to stand on your square when you have inner standing throughout any situation that you go through, being able to persevere through it. All right? So, yeah, shout out to everybody that's on the 90-day water cleanse, everybody that's persevering through the challenge. All right? So, I like to say peace to the gods and goddesses, the kings and queens, the emperors and the empresses. Peace to you, peace to everyone that supports the movement. All right? I'm going to be sharing a little bit of information with everyone tonight. Okay, and it's going to be a nice little build that you can take with you through the course of your challenges and just make something happen with it. All right, so here we go. So this right here is the body of the Messiah. People ask me, where do I get the information that I share with people? Where do I channel a lot of the information from? Where do I get a lot of what I represent from? I get it actually from one page that has a front and a back. All right, a front and a back to it. And that one page is what is considered to be the body of the Messiah. All right, and the body of the Messiah collectively is you and I. All right, and everyone that flows between the numbers of 1 and 31. All right. So if I ask you what's your birthday, we don't really call these birthdays, we call them log dates. All right, which is how you log in space and time. All right, it would flow between a 1 and 31 number, and that 1 and 31 actually represents the alpha and the omega here on this planet Earth, or you and I again. All right, So moving forward, I took y'all to Romans 12:2. It says this, right? It says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay? So that's a 12:22. That's a 12:22. As you know, the 12 would represent the crown chakra in a sense of the canopy of the sky, because the 12 the 12 would be the 12 zodiac signs. But the 2 also represents self. Remember that. It represents self in the codex. One is harukment or movement, and 2 represents yourself. Alright, as in positive and negative. Or nazuf, as in self, nasuf, not self. Same thing. Alright? So yes, excuse me. You got to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You always got to be building. You always got to be growing. You always got to be in the workshop of your mind. Always figuring out something else for the situation that you're going through and what is required of you in this situation. You always got to be in the workshop of sort. All right. So yes, you always got to be in the realm of excuse me, of renewing your mind. All right. Always be in the realm of renewing your mind. Always be in the realm of growing and becoming greater. All right. So I take y'all to another 131 as usual. You know, I always do this just to connect up the supreme grandmother and grandfather in mathematics, so people can know what this codex, or what the Messiah code, or what we consider to be the codex represents. All right. So what it says here, it says, no temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make a way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. Y'all hear that? That is a 131. Again, utilizing the codex. Utilizing the codex. It's no temptation. It's no situation that you'll go through. The universe is saying that you won't be able to bear it in no sort of way. All right? You just got to be in tune with that universal principle. So again, this is a 131. And then 1013 is an open book. When you look at 11 or 113, it actually looks like an open book, because when you turn a book on its belly, or if you turn 113 on its belly, it actually looks like you're opening a book. And people ask me, well, what page is that book open to? And I'm telling you, chapter 131, and I'm gonna give it to you. Shout out to all my 131s, all the Messiah Code movement, everybody that's a part of this. All right, I love y'all. Cool. So moving forward, no temptation has overtaken you, such as common to man, but the universe is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make a way of escape, that you may be able to bear it. Somebody hearing me? Peace to all the Messiahs. You know what this is about. It's about the greater you. That's what I'm talking about. And when I'm reflecting on here, I'm reflecting about the greater you and tapping into the potential of your being. All right? So you got to be in tune with your mind. Your mind got to be always transforming in some sort of way. Your mind always got to be becoming something else. It always got to be formless in a conformed society. All right? You got to be like water again. All right? So Ephesians 5:15, and I'm dealing with the supreme grandmother and grandfather of mathematics once again. Once again, I'm just giving you the math. A lot of the numbers that I'm going to give you are palindrome numbers, or numbers that flow frontwards and backwards, or past, present, and future. All right? So it says this, Ephesians 5:15. So then, be careful how you live. Do not be unwise, but wise, making the best of what? The best use of your time, because the times are evil. You know, I was saying the other day, I said, man, look, time is flying so much. Is it not? Time is, you look at the clock, you be like, oh man, yo, we in next month. We in the next month of the month. The next month of the month. But if you look right here, and if you ever see that 15 in a codex, it looks like a clock almost, with no arms. It looks like a circle with a dot in the middle, which is a clock with no arms. So I'm bringing you back to the codex once again. All right? Can I have that water over there? No, that one. Yes. I'm bringing you back to the codex once again. It says this. So then, be careful how you live. Do not be unwise, but wise, making the best use of your time, because the times are evil. We know what's going on. You got to always remind yourself, Ashe, I shall. You always got to remind yourself and be on your guard, or be on your guard phonetically. You always got to be aligned up with that principle of your God, or your universal principle that guides you towards peace and wholeness. Okay? So yeah, you better be in them books, studied up. You know, they said it's study to show thyself approved. All right? I'm going to keep it real. It's not just really study to show thyself approved. It's also really steady to show thyself approved. You got to think about it like that. It's not just study. It's steady to show thyself approved. Am I right? You got to be steady on a course to show yourself approved. Not just one day. All right? I tell people, man, you know, we was in the, I think that was in, what day was that when we talked about the war was won? That was in the 7th day when we talk about in the 90-day water cleanse that the war was won. All right? But understand that you're going to have many battles, and you may lose a couple battles. But the idea is not to lose the war. Y'all hear me? Moving forward. Let's build on the science. So 6:31, Matthew 6:31 through 33. It says this. It says, so do not ever worry about saying, what are we going to eat? Or what are we going to drink? Or what are we going to wear? Because it is the unbelievers who are eager for those things. Surely your heavenly Father or universal Mother knows that you need of all them. But first be concerned about God's kingdom and the righteousness, and all these things will be provided for you as well. Am I right? Come on, man. A lot of us worry about a lot of stuff. We worried about clothes. We worry about what we're going to eat in the fast, what we're going to do this and what we're going to do that. You know, we should be worried about being studied up. We worried about, you know, a lot of, I would say, things that distract us in a certain way, that take us off course. But we should be studied up. That's what this is really saying right here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people worry, and a lot of people, man, you should be studied up. And you should be utilizing what you study through the course of your journey, period. All right? And you wouldn't have to worry about nothing. Let me tell you something. When I align myself with the universe, that's the moment I stop worrying. All right? That's the moment my life really truly began. Let me keep it real. So, bringing it back, like I said, you know, we got to lean on one another throughout the course of these challenges, throughout the course of our journey that we go through. We got to lean on one another through the course of these challenges. But what I'm telling you, more or less, is do not be weary of these challenges, because through perseverance and through the potential that is manifested within inside of you, you can do anything. You hear me? Coom. That's a coom. All right? So moving forward. So Joshua 1:8, it says, this book of law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it, what? Day and night, so that you may be careful to do according to all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have success. I have to be speaking to someone's consciousness in here, someone's mode of operation. You hear that? You know, this is all about being studied up, not being distracted. If you notice, the whole build, or a lot of things that I'm talking about tonight, is about not being distracted. It's about focus on your studies, being focused on your studies. All right? I keep on bringing up verse after verse and after verse after verse. All right? Through the course of your what is considered to be your cleansing and your fasting. All right? So yeah, the book, whatever book you study in, whatever course or studies that you have to study, shall not depart from your mouth. From your mouth. Meaning that whatever you study, you must utter it in order to know it. All right? But you shall meditate on it all day. Like literally, whatever you devoted to in your studies, you're supposed to be on it day and night. Day and night. So that you may be careful to do according to what is written in it. That's why a lot of people wonder why people wear tassels and stuff like that. They wear tassels because to remind them of the laws to follow. But you should have these laws written, or the mathematics or the lessons of the codex, you should have them written in your heart by now. All right? And that's the true idea of this. And then you'll have success. Meditate on it all day. All day. You know, focus your mind. When was the last time you done this for a moment? And say, you know what? I'm going to block out all the negative cognitions. You know? And I'm going to deal with positive affirmations. When was the last time you put the pause button in when you feel a certain type of way? Because that's what this is all about when I brought that scripture to you. When I brought that scripture to you, I'm talking about what you tend to study in your life, what you tend to grow in. All right? You should literally be meditating on it all day, and it should be written in your heart. And when you utter it, it sounds like Kum, because Kum actually represents the thunder. The thunder when God's light strikes your mind. That's what the kum represents. So imagine if you reading or studying something, that becomes the light, or the divine light for which you supposed to study. And kum, when you utter it, it becomes a kum. But you're not saying kum, but you're actually uttering the thunder of the light that struck your mind and at the same time struck your heart. Y'all hear me? Moving forward. So Quran 11:13. I always bring these 131s up, and y'all see 131. Everybody around me, people that's in my circle, y'all see this 131 constantly. Y'all see constant 131 and things that's going on with this code. But if you go into the Quran 11:13, which is a 131 scrambled once again, it says, or do they say he invented it, like I invented it? Then bring 10 surahs like it that have been invented, and call upon for assistance whomever can besides Allah, if you should be truthful. So again, what it's saying is like, whatever you, if you really divinely inspired, bring 10 surahs, bring 10 messages that line up with what you're saying. All right. Now, when I bring the 131, I have brought over 10. I have brought over 131 alignments with how important this number is. All right. So yes, that's why I bring scriptures up 131 that has a relevant message to what is going on in this age of what we call the information, and also the story of the Messiah. All right. So yes, let's move forward. Another 131. Whomsoever that calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Another 131. All right. Whoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. So what is the Lord's name? All right. This Lord's name so happens to be Lamel. Lamel. All right. It's many lords that are associated with the universal principle of thought, but the Lord that they giving reference to is not only that universal principle, they're also talking about the Messiah. All right, whose name is Lamel. That is the sacred name of the Messiah. When you look at 131, which is the body of the Messiah, it spells the name Lamel without vowels. It spells the name Lamel once again. All right. So whoever shall call upon the name of the Lord, or the number, should I say, of the Lord, the nombre, or the number, or the name of the Lord shall be saved. All right. Like I said, one thing is that is written, that you are writing in your book, is that you have a calling. Each and every one of us have a form of calling that we are answering to. That's why it says, those that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. Those that call, that fulfill your calling, those that call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. The calling, your purpose, fulfilling your purpose. You got to ask yourself, what is my purpose in this? What am I set to fulfill in this? All right? And you can move forward and answer the calling, or answer the phone. All right? Phonetically, through phonetics. All right? Which are words, once again. All right? Moving forward, I'm going to give you another 131. Lamel, please stop doing this 131 stuff. No, I will not. All right? Because I brought you to the Quran in all of this when the Quran said, bring 10 surahs if you really are about your work. If you say you invented it, or if you didn't invent it, why don't you bring 10 surahs or bring 10 reoccurrences that represent what you're talking about, if it is truth. So I got you, all right, with more love. Okay, so it says this, moving forward, it says this, 1 Corinthians 10:31, which is another 131. It says, so whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do it for the glory of what? Of God. Do it for the glory of God. Do it for what you consider to be, whatever you consider to be God. Do it for that, if you are true to what you represent. That's what that's all about, if you want to be real. All right? So yes, do it to the fullest. Okay? You got to go hard in the paint. Whatever you're doing, whenever, look, I'm going to tell you this, real talk. When you take a bite of fruit, when you eat a meal, everything you thank in the universe. You know, people, a lot of times, you can thank the universe. What if you thank the universe for every breath you took? What if you did that? You know, what if you thank the universe every second? How deep would that be? Will it be undenied, or would it be undeserving? If you thank the universe for just every and anything that's bestowed upon you. All right? Namely, the sustenance that we call nourishment or food. Okay? Giving thanks. So, moving back to this principle, which is another 131, it says, so whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do, think about it. Think about it. Do it for the glory of what? God. Or whatever you consider to be God in your life. All right? And you can take it as that. Okay? Peace to everybody. I love y'all. All right? So, yeah, let's go. Let's go. Another 131. Romans 13:11. It says, besides this, know the time that the hour has come for you to wake from what? Sleep. For salvation, which is Yeshua, another name for the Messiah, is nearer to us now than when we first believed. Wow. Wow. See, the Messiah was brought to us in many ways, in many forms. All right? And we didn't know how to accept it. But a Messiah has always been here. If you go back into ancient Egyptian times, they had a Messiah in their time. If you go in any culture, they have a Messiah in their culture. But what I'm telling you is we are in the age of information right now. All right? Besides this, you know the time that the hour has come for you to wake from sleep. All right? And we know that our people are in a deep sleep that they need to wake from. For Yeshua, or salvation is nearer to us now than when we first believed in what a Jesus figure was. All right? It's more closer to us. And that's another 131. Romans 13:11. All right? And I just keep on showing you these things back to back just to give you the signs of the times. Men and women lie, but guess what? Numbers don't lie. Let's move forward. I'm going to give y'all another number. I'm going to give y'all a positive and a negative, which is a 9 and a 6. And this is very important for people to know in this day and time we call the age of information. It says, for to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. So that's the toughest thing that we have to bear when we bring these young messiahs in the world, is the fact that the government will still be on their shoulder. All right, so we must pave the way with a good example to lead these messiahs into the next generation. Okay, what is a messiah? All right, so they say a messiah is a Jewish whatever, Jewish prophesied whatever in the Hebrew Bible. But if you look into the second meaning of messiah, it says what? A leader or a savior of a particular group or cause. All right, these are the people that we are looking for when it comes to the movement of the Messiah. We are looking for leaders and saviors of a particular groups or cause. So it's not like anyone is knocking the things that you do, long as it is for the preservation of our people, and long as it is to lead our people in the right direction. All right, but these are the people that we're looking for as Messiah type genealogy. All right, which is leaders and saviors of a particular group and cause. And this also goes back to the Messiah of what they consider to be 2,000 years ago, when he was looking for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, which was Judah. And Judah phonetically means leader, because it would mean Huda, mean the guy, or Huda means to praise. It can mean two things. All right, so in the same essence, the Messiah of that day and time was looking for messiahs. All right, looking for leaders of particular groups or causes. All right, so that's who we are associated with in the movement. So what is a movement? What is a movement? People say, man, I don't want to represent a movement. I don't want to represent a movement. Well, question, what is a movement? A movement is a group of people working together to advance their what? Their shared political, social, or artistic ideas. You get that? So what can be wrong with that? I had somebody argue with me, said, I'm not with movements, or I'm not with a movement. But a movement collectively is a group of people working together, working together, not by yourself. A group of people working together to advance their shared political, social, or artistic ideas of movement. That's why we say the Messiah Code movement. So if you ever ask me, or if they ever ask you, why do they say Messiah? Because we with the leaders or saviors of particular groups or causes. And I've took you to the second meaning of that. All right? And then if they ever ask you, well, why you say movement? Well, a movement is a group of people working together to advance their shared political, social, or artistic ideas. Very simple. All right? So, peace to the Messiah Code movement. Peace to all the messiahs. And peace to everybody that is a part of the movement. Hopefully we seeing clearly now. Because if you go into Genesis, this is chapter 6, when it talks about, man is but flesh, and I'm only going to strive with man 120 years. They actually talking about 120 degrees, or 120. You say 120? Yeah, they talking about 120. The 120 is the two congruent angles when you have 20/20 vision. One eye that has 20/20 vision. All right, that is your 120, or your 120 degrees of mathematics, or lessons that you were supposed to learn on the positive and on the negative. All right, and then the height of this is what? 12 again, because the base of the object so happens to be 24 hours. We live 24-hour days. So the height of what is considered to be your reality would be 12. So wow, 120, you just drop the 0 and you just put a 12 there, and there you go. What you consider you know, or what you know is your height of your reality. Is what you know. Alright? So now it's time to know the ledge, or the knowledge. Alright? Know the ledge. Okay? So the 120 or the 120 degrees is the congruent angles of your eyes when you have clarity through the base of 24 hours, because the 1212 is the 24 hours. Alright? The 24 hours that you live. And then the height of it, the height, or you would divide that by in half, which is the base, and you'll get 12. So when you do the math, when you do the math of your square, to see clearly, when you do the math, you would have to do it like this, real simply. You would have to do excuse me, I got you. You would have to do 20 square. You will have to make that square. Alright? See if I can bring this up. I don't know if I had that slide. See if I can find it for you. What you do is in these congruent angles, what you do is you take the 2020 or the 120, you take that 2020 and you times it by itself. Alright? And what you'll get is 400. And 400 or 400 subtract, or what is considered to be 12 times 12, which is your base. Alright? Because the half of your base is considered to be 12, because you have 24 hours as your base that you live, the 24-hour days. So if you split that in half and then you do it square, you get 144. So 144 subtract what is considered to be 400, which is 20 square, you get 256. And 256 is 16. So the height of the object so happens to be 16. And somebody might say, well, what does that have to do with it? Because 1 plus 6 equals 7, which is God, once again, which is your 7. Alright? But 16 also represents the form or way that we communicate. Alright? Because it is a binary system that uses what is considered to be IPv4, and they use a system of 16 times 16 in order for us to communicate. Alright, the system of mathematics in order to allocate addresses in order for us to get on the internet is a base 16. So that's why it's literally connected with the height of your reality. That's why it's connected with the height or what you know. Because in this age of what we know of information, we connect through what is considered to be the internet. Alright? So moving forward, I took you to the base, and I took you to the 131, and I was talking about all these things, and I went in circles, it seems like, talking about reality. But what I want you to know is this, real simple. It's a compass of sort. Alright? And being on your is what is considered to be sacred geometry. That's why I said what you know. Alright, the 131 equals 5. So 5 is G. You might say, well, why is 5 G? I thought 5 was E, because the 5th letter of the alphabet so happens to be E. Well, 5 and 7 are synonymous in a way, because if you look at them, they both are the circle and the square. 5 is the circle and the square, and then you got G is the circle and the square as well. All right, 5 and 7. All right, the woman being the 5 and the man being the 7. All right, as in the woman being the earth, because the 5 is the 5 points of a woman. The 5 is one of the 5 points of a woman. When a woman's on her 5, that's when she's a star, literally. S star, Esther, or A star, when she's A star. All right, or when she's the earth, because the 5th letter of the alphabet so happens to be E. So again, that's why 5 and 7 are synonymous, because man would be the God, as in woman being the earth. All right, as in being the G-O-D, and she being the earth. Hopefully y'all can connect that universal principle. All right, these are synonymous terms. These are synonymous terms, but these also deal with the mathematics. They also deal with the mathematics, how it connects up mathematically. All right, so yeah, moving forward. Moving forward. Yeah, the circle and the square, the G. The G is also a circle and a square, like I was saying, which is a way to design the universe. Which is a way that what we consider the grand architect, how the grand architect designs the universe from the circle and the square. Y'all see that? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You create a square from it. Alright? So moving forward, and the circle through the arc, or what they consider to be the covenant. So moving forward, Quran 14:4. It says this. Before I talk about this verse, I'm gonna tell you this, man. It's no excuse for I would say not getting any form of knowledge. It's no excuse in these days and time. It's no excuse for not changing who you are or being a better person. It's no excuse for you to be asleep in these days and time. You should be awoke, well awoke. I'm going to tell you why. Quran, chapter 14, 144,000, the chosen ones, right? Okay, 14:4. It says this, and we did not send any messenger except speaking in the language of his people to state clearly for them, and Allah sends astray thereby whom he wills and guides whom he wills, and he is exalted in might and wise. Isn't that deep? Isn't that deep? In the Quran it says this, and this is the square. You say 12 times 12. This is the square, every square of the earth. That's why I said this is mathematics. 12 times 12 is 144. So I took y'all to 144. I just used the mathematics. Quran 14:4, and it says it. North, east, south, west, we sent messengers to y'all. We sent messengers through every culture. Everybody, y'all had somebody that will help you turn the leaf over to the universal principle of oneness. It was somebody there to bring you there, or to remind you. Trust me on that. It just had to be you to gravitate towards that force. Alright? No excuses. It just had to be you to gravitate towards the force. So 12 times 12 is 144,000 or 144. And they did not send, they made sure everybody had a messenger. to bring them the universal principle of oneness. All right? Moving forward. All right, this 2 Timothy 3:16. 3:16. All scripture, right, is breathed out by what? God, and is profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness. It did not say anything about religion. It did not say anything about religion. It did not say anything about religion. It said this, and this is a 3:16, and I always tell y'all 361 degrees, but 3:16, it goes back and it says this: all scripture is breathed out by God. Wow. Means inspired, breathed out, inspired. Because when you think about inspiration, you think about the fact that it means to breathe. It means to breathe. The same way spirit means to breathe. Like inspiration, you hear the word spirit in there. And spirit means to breathe in some way. All right? But it said all scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, all right? For correction and for training in righteousness, not for religion. I'm going to take y'all to another 144. 144,000, 1414, however you want me to give it to you. All right? It says this: let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God or the universe. Believe in me also. In my Father's what? House or many mansions. If it were not so, if it were not so, I would have told you. I go prepare a place. I go prepare a place. Where is this place? And if I go prepare a place for you, I will come again. Oh, you're coming again? Wow. And receive you unto myself. What do you mean by that? Receive you unto myself. That where I am, there ye may be also. What do you mean by that? And whether I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Literally, he said this in the verse 3. He said, and if I go prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you into myself. Again, I told people this: we are all the body of the Messiah. When the Messiah returned in a whole different light. The Messiah became a network, because the way the Messiah manifested in what is considered to be in latter times, or in times of iniquity, they would be like he manifested in the physical flesh, just like it was many messiahs. But the Messiah was actually all-knowing and all-wise in this age of what we call information. Hear me out. So how the Messiah manifested is the Messiah manifested as a network, as an embodiment of himself. That's why he said, or that's why it is said, the principle is this. It says this. And it's not even that he said it. It's the fact that it is a principle. It is a universal principle. All right? It says this. It says, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And wherever you go, there I go too, basically. All right? So overstand or understand, or we say solar stand, the fact that, we are all the collective body of the Messiah. Second Peter 1:20. Wow, I'm going to give you another 1:20 again. It says, knowing this first of all, that no prophecy of Scripture comes from someone's own interpretation. It has to be many things to line this up. Just like everything that I talk about, it is so many things that line up the principle of 131. I tell people men and women lie, but numbers don't lie. Knowing this, first of all, that no prophecy or scripture comes from someone's own interpretation. You have to line up things to represent what you're talking about. And it has to be mathematically sound. You have to go through certain situations. You have to go through certain situations in order to bear the cross of what this represents. All right? Or the burden, should I say, of what this represents. All right? So moving forward, Zechariah 14:1. I'm hitting you with this math again. I brought you to 13, 14, like back and forth. Back, left and right. Behold, a day is coming for the Lord when the spoil taken from you will be divided in your midst. Is that not the day now? Is that not the day? Are we not in that day? Look at this. I'm going to give y'all some real stuff, man. And I'm going to give y'all some real stuff, and I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm about to say. All right? Yo, the Moses story about when the manna rained down from heaven is a symbolic story, yo. It's a symbolic story of a time when certain things happen. Hear me out. Now, going back to the Pharaoh, right? Pharaoh, what does Pharaoh mean? A Pharaoh means one who sits on a big house. The real name for Pharaoh in Egypt is called Nisut. It's a Nisut, all right? So it has a whole different meaning of one who just sits on a big house. That's a Pharaoh. So you might say, well, what house does he sit on? Well, what seat does the Pharaoh sit on in his house? If it's a big house, it is the White House. All right? The Pharaoh was sitting in the White House. All right? And what happened was, a lot of Moses came to the Pharaoh many times. All right? Or who was sitting in the seat of the White House many times. Moses came in the form of many people. Dr. Martin Luther King, you can say he came in the form of Malcolm X, Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He came in the form of many people. Moses, right? And all he was saying was, let my people go. Like, let my people go. That's all Moses was saying to the man that was sitting, or the Pharaoh, because again, Pharaoh means one who sits on a big house. All right? So he went to the Pharaoh back and forth saying, yo, let my people go so they can go and pray out in the wilderness. And guess what? The Pharaoh never let the people go. He kept the people hostage. All right? He kept us stuck on a 9-to-5. He kept us stressed out. He kept us going through different situations. The crack era. He had us going through various different modes, families breaking up, different we being raised with single homes, with single mothers, and families just all being ripped, torn apart. All right? He kept us busy in a sense to never let us go. But Moses kept on coming back. So it didn't happen. The Pharaoh didn't let the people go until what? Until the plague happened. Am I right? Wow, it's like, damn, Lamar, are we living in a Bible? Are we actually living in some sort of time loop or something? It seems like that. Because if you think about it, the Pharaoh didn't let the people go until the plague came. So what happened? When the plague came, I'm gonna keep it real. When the plague came, what happened? The Pharaoh let you go. when the plague came, the Pharaoh said, oh man, look, I'm going to let y'all go. I'm going to let y'all go home. And a lot of people had time to spend with their children because they had to do Zooms from the house. They had to work from home. A lot of people spent a lot of time home more than anything because the Pharaoh let the people go because the plague came, right? You're like, damn, Lamel, this is deep. So boom. Okay, now since we know the plague came, what happened? The people end up letting go, and the people end up going their way with Moses. So you start following your inspirational leaders or sort. You start getting close to your masters. You start getting close to your teachers or your teachings. You start getting close to these things. And then what happened? The manna rained down from heaven because you start complaining when you was out in the wilderness with Moses, with your teachers. You would start like, man, you was wondering. You was wondering about everything. You was like, damn, where are we going with this? I can't believe we going in circles. Like, man, where are we going? Where are we going, Moses? And Moses had to get rid of a generation of y'all because y'all are a bunch of complainers. Y'all a bunch of naggers. Y'all a bunch of people nagging all the goddamn time. So Moses had to take a whole generation. It took him 40 years to get rid of y'all asses. Walking in the desert, it seemed like. No, where you going, Moses? I'm trying to get rid of y'all asses, whether you know it or not. We lost, Moses. No, I'm trying to get rid of y'all because y'all not fit to see this promised land. Y'all not fit to see where I imagine a place that I really want to take y'all. Y'all not really fit. So we're going to wait till the next generation so they can see it. But we're going to walk this hard path because you're going to take the burden for them. All right? For your incompetence and all the complaining that they was doing. So boom, guess what happened? Moses fulfilled them. They needed water. He popped a rock open. Pow, they getting water. Look at this. They was broke in the desert. They was wandering. Guess what? About everything. How they going to get money? So guess what Moses did? Moses asked God to rain bread down from heaven. So manna was rained down, or bread was rained down. Was not bread rained down on y'all? Like PPP loans. Niggas getting all these checks from people getting money and all types of whatever. Like people were just getting money out of nowhere. Like manna raining down from heaven after the plague. Am I right? So Moses said, look, I got something going on with this manna that's raining down from heaven. It's only a problem. Yeah, the universe is going to rain this manna down from heaven. The problem is that you got to spend it in one day. You say, fuck, Moses, we got to spend all this bread in one day. We got to eat all this bread in one day. Moses said, yo, look, listen, I'm telling you, I want you to hear me out. This manna is raining from heaven. You got to spend it all in one day. And the people did not believe in Moses or their universal teacher, even though they followed him that far. They saw him split the Red Sea and saw him do all these type of things to lead them where they had to go. But when it came to the bread coming from heaven, they got greedy and was like, you know what? We gotta tuck this bread away. We gotta tuck this bread. Forget what Moses talking about. But what Moses said was true, is that the bread is going to rot away. He said, man, if you don't spend it in one day, it's going to rot away. Period. You're going to think you got good bread, but when you come back to it, it's just going to be rotting away. So whether you know it or not, the price of bread, the price of eggs came up. The price of freaking milk the price of meat, the price of rent. All the prices went up. So if you had $1 yesterday, $1 is only 75 cents today. Now, didn't Moses said spend that bread in one day and spend it wisely, right? Because we were supposed to invest in something that was an asset. Period. And the only thing that is an asset. That's what we were supposed to do. Not supposed to hold on to it. Because when the manna rained down, of course it was going to rot away. Because of the source that it came from. Y'all got to realize that. Alright? The source. You say, man, it came from God. But the intentions wasn't right of the people. Because they wasn't following direction. They wanted to follow and do whatever they wanted to do. Alright? And they wanted to be greedy because their eyes got big. Bigger than their stomachs. Alright? The same thing as us. PPP loans. All this dumb shit. Money rotting away instead of invested in one asset that'll yield money time and time again. You got to ask yourself, damn, what did I do when the manna was rained down, when we was in the wilderness, after the plague happened? It's the same thing that I told you to happen in the times of Pharaoh. Alright? Times of Moses. Same thing happened. Time loop. Only problem is you Moses. Or some of us are Moses. And some of us are the people. Alright? And there's nothing wrong with being either or. Because they play a role in the story. Alright? So yeah, man. This is real. So Hebrews 9:26. Alright? I like bringing you these opposite numbers, 9 and 6. Opposite, positive and negative. For then he would have had to suffer repeatedly since the foundation of the world. But as it is, he has appeared once for all at the end of the ages. The end of the ages, to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. Like I said, I told y'all, the Messiah came. The Messiah came. The Messiah already came. The Messiah is here. The Messiah is a network that you can tap into, that you can literally tune into. It literally, you start to broadcast from the network. All right? Matthew 24:10. At that time, many will fall away and will betray one another and hate one another. And these times, which is the end of ages, which is the end of the age, or what you call Piscean era, or the end of the age. Because we have come into a new age, which is Aquarius, which is the age of information. But at this time, people will fall away and will betray one another and hate one another. You know why? Because it is a signal broadcasted from what is considered to be the beast. It is a broadcast signal of forgetfulness. To make you forget about the love. To make you, man, literally, people will do dumb shit, different things, excuse my language, my vulgarness, but people will do different things to one another and forget how much they love one another in these days and times. It says it. And hate one another and betray one another. This is something that you need to pay attention to. Alright? And always have love existing in your heart. You know, I brought y'all to that. I said, man, look at this, man. When something is on your mind in a certain way, get on your God. That is the devil, or what is considered to be that oppositional force trying to infiltrate your mind. Period. And trying to infiltrate your spirit. Alright? Whether you know it or not, let me say this before I do this. Whether you know it or not, you're hollow. You are porous. You are hollow. So if your continence is falling, if you are really in a depressed state, it is easy to have a walk-in because you already hollow. When your mind is strong, you already have a psychic self-defense. So certain beings that are in what is considered to be purgatory, or in a state where they can't leave or they can't stay, they're just in a state and in the middle, they utilize you to reanimate what they are here stuck on the planet for. I'm telling you. It's something that they never grew from. It's like an adrenaline rush or something that they will always want to reanimate. All right? And they reanimate it through you, because when your continents fall, or when you feel a certain type of way of disparity, they look at you as hollow and they immediately walk in and reanimate certain things, yo. All right? And a lot of people say, man, the devil made me do it. No, you did it yourself, because the devil can only whisper to you in suggestion. But know that it attacks you when you are in a weak state. So you must be strong mentally, physically, spiritually, as well as financially. All right, moving this. It says Matthew 5:8, blessed are the pure in heart. All right, for they shall see God. Yo, this is real simple, man. You know, I don't care what spiritual practice that you are, because I don't really deal with religion. I don't care what spiritual practice. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see the universal principle of oneness. They will see God, the pure in heart, period. If you come to this stuff right, if you really come to this stuff right, because this is what you want, God will reveal itself to you, or God himself or herself or whatever self, God or that universe will reveal itself to you, yo. I'm trying to tell you, yo, if you come with a pure heart, you'll be able to move with the rhythm of life in a certain way, move at God's beat. All right, so that's it. That was my last slide. I'm gonna say Ashe, I shall. Thank you for everybody that's watching this broadcast now and forevermore. All right, I appreciate you. Make sure that you're writing in your diary. Make sure that you're writing in your diary. Everybody should have their own diary. That is your book. It is your book. All right, you should be writing your book. Everybody should have their own diary that you putting in every day, logging certain things that's going on with your life, so you can remember in the next life. Okay? But I'm going to leave you with that. Kum, salutations to the primes, 747. We definitely went hard on here. I'm going to keep on going to 113 minutes on here. I'm going to stay on here to 113 minutes. All right? Or 111 minutes. I'm going to stay on to 111 minutes. How about that? So the video will be 111 minutes. Okay? But I love y'all. Make sure you stay close to the lessons, man. Make sure you stay close to the movement. Make sure you stay close to the love. Make sure you stay close to the universal principle of oneness. That's what this is about. Make sure you invoke the Messiah in you. All right? Make sure you invoke the Messiah in you. That's what this is about also. So I gave y'all a lot of supreme grandmother and grandfather mathematics on here. That's all I do. A lot of times when I look in the scriptures, man, I just ask the universe, give me the numbers. And the numbers always guide me the way I need to go. So I'm logging off. We're going to log off at 111 minutes. Just like it was prophesied in the beginning of this video. Kum, salutations to the primes, 747.